Hi class, it's Mrs. J. I'm out here in my garden. I'm so sad we can't plant a garden at school together. So I asked Miss Haley if she would help us plant a garden at my house together. So we're going to ask her a few questions today and see what she has to say.
Hey class, it's Miss Haley here. All right, Miss J, bring on those questions. Let's see what I can answer. And from the safety of my garden, I'll answer the questions about yours.
So in my garden, I planted some tomatoes, some peppers, some other things. But you'll come and see here that some of my tomatoes are looking great like this. But two of them are looking like this. And I planted some peppers, and some are looking great like that. And some are looking a little bit sad, or even maybe dead, like that one. My question is, why did that happen, Miss Haley? Why did that happen to some of my plants?
All right, Miss J, that's a great question. So there could be many reasons why your plants may not survive, especially when you're transplanting. So I'd say some of those plants Miss J started either inside or got them at the store when they're nice and tiny little babies. And then she moved them into her garden. So sometimes when you move a baby plant and put it into the garden, the root systems, everything that grows out into the soil, if those are touched or moved around or broken, sometimes the plant can either not do well or it might die. But another reason is watering. So either it maybe got too much water or not enough water once it got moved into the garden bed, or even before Miss J even bought her plants. So if she went to the store and bought her plants when they're nice and little baby plants and they got too dry at the store, that means they were going to die anyway. So sometimes you're not sure when you buy baby plants at a store, but usually you can trust that most of them will survive, like her plants. Another thing is, if you notice, some of her plants all in one area didn't do well where everyone else did well. So maybe there's too much sun there and it needs extra water. Or maybe there is too much sun for the plant, but that's a tomato plant and a pepper plant, and both of them love sunshine. So I think maybe they needed more water, or before she even bought them, they were damaged, so they didn't have a chance to survive.
My next question is about my zucchini. I planted some zucchini right there, and as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit unhealthy. What can I do to make sure that my plants survive? If they start to look unhealthy, what should I do? Do I have some questions I should ask? Is there a way that I can figure it out and make sure that my zucchini plant survives? What do you think?
That's a great question again, Miss J. So like I said, sometimes when you transplant, when you move a baby plant out of its container into the garden, it doesn't always look too happy. Now, that's okay. Sometimes plants need 1 week to really get comfortable and let their roots grow deep into the soil to feel comfortable again. So make sure you water your plants regularly every day after you transplant them, and make sure they get some sunshine. So if you're going to transplant it and you know it's going to rain for the next 5 days, maybe wait until the second to last day so you know that they'll get some sunshine pretty soon. So if your plant isn't looking very happy, you could try adding compost, or if your parents like to add, it's called fertilizer to the soil. I add only organic fertilizer and compost to my soil. That's just extra nutrition and healthy food for the plants, and I like growing my plants organically, so that's a great thing to do. And if you want, your parents can call the master gardeners, and they always have great answers. So if you have little bugs, maybe they'll be able to tell you which kind of bugs are on the plant, or if you send me a picture, maybe I'll be able to know.
My last question is, how do I keep my garden healthy? What's the most important thing that I can do to make sure I have a healthy garden that grows me some food that I can eat?
Miss J, that's another great question. So what can you do to make sure your garden is healthy? What's the best thing you can do? And that's pay attention and care about it. So if you love your plants, you're going to be looking at them all the time. You'll notice if they start looking sick, or if they look thirsty, if the ground is not very wet, or if it's too wet and there's slugs crawling everywhere. Today I found slugs in my garden, and so I had to squish them so they wouldn't eat my plants. So the number one thing you can do for your garden is to go out and visit it every day. Give it water. Make sure it's not too dry when it's very sunny, but if it's raining a lot, make sure you go out and check if there's any bugs crawling in there. So my biggest suggestion is to go enjoy your garden. Go hang out with your plants, maybe talk to them, say hi. As I am hanging out with mine, I've got a little bit of broccoli growing and I'm very excited, but I also come out here all the time and make sure my plants are doing well. So water your plants, guys. Make sure that soil is healthy and good, and watch out for bugs, but make sure to hang out in your garden. And hopefully when you guys come back in fall, your garden at your school will be beautiful. I'll be working on it until then. Have a great day, and I miss you guys.